Good morning. It's Monday, December 28th. And this morning I'm concerned about a group of people in this country that I will call the anti-vaxxers. This is a group of people that hasn't been convinced that they should take the vaccines that have been developed. And many of them think that it's dangerous to take these vaccines because in their minds, the speed at which these vaccines were developed doesn't meet their critical standards. They don't think enough testing has been done. They're just not sure of the results, and therefore they are hesitant to take the vaccines. Now, it's interesting that this opinion has been voiced by large members of the Black community and large members of the white community. So those communities differ slightly in the percentages that they're talking about. The blacks, 48% of the Black community are willing to take the vaccine, while 63% of the white community is willing to take the vaccine. Yet the damage in the Black community is much greater than the damage in the white community. A Black is 2.8 times more likely to die from COVID than a white person for some reason. Now, they've given medical excuses for this, and I believe that the people who are working on this vaccine and working with the people understand why blacks are more likely to die than whites. And it deals with the propensity in the Black community to have more diabetes and more high blood pressure and several other medical factors. So it deals with the general health of each population. And I could categorically say that income levels and education are probably a major factor in what's going on. But I'm not going to get into that piece. In any event, because of the dangers to the Black people, there's a movement by the medical professions for Black churches in this country to advise their congregations that they should be taking the vaccines. They should be getting vaccinated. They should be getting inoculated. But many of the religious leaders in the Black community are reluctant to step on their pulpit and say, please take these vaccinations. And they have many good reasons for that, because over the years, the Blacks have been treated very poorly by our medical community. They have been underserved, and many in the Black community are afraid that this is going to happen again. They point out that a smaller percentage of Blacks were included in the test groups for these vaccines. Now, based on the percentages, it looked minuscule to me, but to a Black person, it wouldn't look minuscule. They did not have a percentage that correlated with their percentage of the population in these trials. So they're worried. And the Black ministers and preachers and pastors are worried about giving out misinformation to their flocks. And we can't really blame them for that. And the CDC, in a report this month, said that it's very important for Black religious leaders to promote the vaccine effort. Because in the past, they have found that health officials had success when they partnered with African American churches to educate medically underserved communities. So it's very important that the Black ministers and preachers and pastors get on board to promote the vaccines. Critical. It's a critical thing that's going on. Now, Black churches have done many things in the past when the social well-being of their community was threatened. And we all know how well they performed during the civil rights movement. But this is a little different than the civil rights movement, I think. This is an area where they are not sure. They don't trust the white medical community. And so it is going to be an effort to build the trust within the Black religious community in order to get more of their population in the mood to accept vaccines. In my mind, they have to get acceptance. They have to accept quickly. If 50% of the Black community doesn't want to take the vaccinations, then they're putting their whole community at risk. Plus, they're putting a lot of other communities at risk. This is just another example of the great divide in this country. And we know that in the past, the Blacks have been mistreated, underrepresented. And that history goes back a long way, and it still hasn't been corrected. So the medical profession has a lot of work to do in building trust. In fact, this country has a lot of work to do in building trust with one another. But it's not as bleak as I was thinking, because the National Medical Association, an organization of Black healthcare providers, has gone through the test data thoroughly and announced on Monday that they are supporting the U.S. government's emergency approval of Pfizer and Moderna. And they are a major organization, and they have to get their message out. And one of the ways to get their message out is to get the Black preachers involved. So maybe now some of the Black faith leaders will be encouraged to step forward and vouch for the vaccine. And they might even step forward and get inoculated in public. That would be a wonderful thing. We can't have 15% of the population in this country susceptible to COVID-19. That's a national disaster. So I leave you with that this morning. Have a great day, and I'll see you tomorrow. Bye.